Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Iftidah Dwi Anjasari from English Department. So here I'd like to explain about my final project article entitled Teachers' Creativity in Online Class During the Pandemic of 11 MIPA Students in SMA Negeri 1 Kedung Muni. The article created by me as the researcher with Mrs. Rizka Hayati as my advisor. The COVID-19 pandemic is a problem that affected all aspects of human life on Earth without exception, including stage of education in Indonesia. This outbreak suddenly forced the education should be used the online class. On the other hand, the use of education facilities with technology has its own problems. There are many variants of problems that hinder of the effectiveness of implementing online class method. During this pandemic, everyone is required to carry out all the activities at home. At the same time, the researcher was doing the internship program in teaching English. So thus, the reason why the researcher chose this topic and SMA Negeri 1 Kedung Muni became the setting of this study itself. The researcher knew the online class learning process consciously during assisting school's teacher for about a month. On the other hand, the researcher involved in the learning process also tried to face and try to overcome similar problems with the teacher. In the early of the pandemic, educational institutions began to worry. But nowadays, the online process has become a new solution and adaptation for the field of education. So, substantially, the infrastructure in each educational institution has changed by adding to the internet network and transforming it into the school that carries out the learning process online. And finally, in pandemic era, there are many lessons that can be taken to accelerate education in Indonesia. Hopefully, we are among those who have a positive attitude in facing this pandemic, because then we have become a problem solver in the field of education. So the main topic in this article are the learning process itself, also the online class, the learning media, the teacher creativity, and also the pandemic era. The conceptual framework deal with COVID-19 pandemic that hit learning process, especially English learning. Secondly, secondly includes educational as well, transforming learning media during the COVID-19 pandemic. And then the third one is about online learning media can be chosen to convey learning material in this situation, and the concept focuses on the form of teacher creativity, for example, like fluency, and then flexibility, and the last one is about originality. Also, to know how the problems that faced by the teacher and how the teacher overcome the problems itself. Next, it's about the research method. The research design in this study is descriptive, qualitative research, and the learning of the study will take at SMA Negeri 1 Kedung Muni. Took at SMA Negeri 1 Kedung Muni. And it might take a week for the researcher to take the research. Researcher choose the location because the researcher has been followed the internship program in the same location. All kind of researchers are need the data to support the investigation. So the activity located at SMA Negeri 1 Kedung Muni, which focus on teachers' creativity in online class during pandemic, and the instrument that is used in this research was an interview. Next, it's about discussion. Here I'd like to explain one by one. So researchers found that teachers use several platforms as digital learning program. And so the use of multiple platforms is a form of teacher creativity that can be categorized into three main points, three main forms. The first one is about fluency, the second one is about flexibility, and the third one is about originality. Okay, so the first one about fluency. Based on the result of interview, the first main forms is about fluency. Teacher can be quickly choose and determine what platforms are appropriate to the condition and situations. Some time ago, learning could be done face-to-face, but when the COVID-19 variant emerged, the teacher quickly can precisely redetermine the platform as a digital learning medium so that learning continued well. The result about this of the interview showed that learning used schools running website and then also some of the application, for example, such as WhatsApp and then Google Classroom, Google Form, YouTube, and Zoom. And then to get the ideas quickly, teachers took the time to think about the right way to find solutions to every problem that occurs in the learning process itself. Based on the findings, teachers study independently and then attend the seminars on the use of digital learning media. So it can be concluded that the teacher used media WhatsApp, such as WhatsApp, Google Classroom, YouTube, and Google Form, also Zoom, and then quizzes, and it can be seen that the teacher have the ability to operate this media well because they often study and attend seminars to generate lots of ideas. The second main forms is about flexibility. So the flexibility itself is the teacher's ability to generate various ideas, including the teacher's ability to combine platform with one another as digital learning media, and also the learning steps when combining this media. Teachers were also creative in using online learning media, such as using WhatsApp media and combining with the school website, and then also teachers were able to combining them so that online learning looks interesting for the students. The last one about the main form is about creativity, is originality. So the content of the teaching media used still a standard video which was made independently by, for example, by recording oneself in explaining concept or material. So alternatively, they also use a YouTube platform to search for learning videos such as interesting animated videos to be sent to the students via WhatsApp and Google Classroom. And then in this case, the teacher admitted that creativity in creating learning media was still very limited. Indeed, the problem faced by the teacher lies in its implementation so that the learning processes is less effective and efficient. The problem are about networks. Not about the networks. Also, the next problem is about the limiting supporting facilities. Network problems cause ineffective learning, and the students cannot absorb the information conveyed by the teacher as a whole. And the network constraints and the students didn't have their own cell phone made the learning process a bit delayed, and the interaction between teacher and students also hampered. In addition, the researcher found that there were students who were less active in participating in the learning process itself. So to overcome the problems, the teacher minimizes all the obstacles, both from network disturbances by extending the delivery period of assignments and then making learning material simpler and easier to understand for the student itself. And then to overcome the electronic devices that didn't support it, one way that is done by the teacher was that the teacher provides flexible time for the students to take part in learning. So the conclusion about this article is the English teacher at SMA Negeri 1 Kedunguni has various ideas in solving problems with digital learning. Some teachers can generate ideas or problem solving for digital learning itself because they often attend trainings on the use of the media, also often exchange with the other teachers about information or share with peers with other school teachers who are more experienced, so that knowledge about digital learning media becomes broad. In addition, the fluency of the teacher's thinking can be seen from the shrewdness and dexterity in operating digital media features, so that they can be maximized the learning process in online class during the pandemic. Another fluency is thinking is adjusting teaching materials, learning objectives with digital learning media, even with simple techniques. So in terms of flexibility, certification teachers have very varied ideas in terms of combining media, not only based on one media, but also preparing various alternatives in using media and utilizing them. Because not all learning topics can be answered with just one of media learning, and then from the aspect of originality that the teacher has, one of them is the ability to create new innovations. English teacher at SMA Negeri 1 Kedunguni has not been able to create new media, and with limited abilities, teachers tend to still use the available media because there are already many features that make it easier for the teacher and for the students. The problems faced by the teacher in using digital learning media is signal interference, and which is make the learning process stop. And besides that, not all students have handphone, and then so that learning is not optimal. The way to overcome problem in using digital learning is to make learning videos that can be accessed even though they are offline, so that the students can view, preset the material without fear of the signal interference. Regarding smartphones, one of to do this for the teacher to provide flexible time for the students to take part in learning. So in the future, the researcher hope that English teacher at SMA Negeri 1 Kedunguni should always maintain creativity in using digital learning media. However, it still needs to be developed because it is still lacking in terms of originality. Teachers should be able to develop educational media to make it even better, so by participating in training, seminars, and etc. The researcher is expected to follow up this research with variants and more in-depth literature for further understanding of teacher creativity in using digital learning media, which in the future may not only be used for learning during a pandemic. That's all. The explanation about my final project article entitled Teacher Creativity in Online Class During the Pandemic of 11 MIPA students in SMA Negeri 1 Kedunguni. Thank you so much for nice attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.